All right, so there's a few possible scenarios that I'm watching before the market opens. We got about 8 minutes until the bell. Just zooming out, looking at the larger time frame picture. Obviously, the short time frame within the past 2-3 days is downtrending, and we've seen a 2-day period where we've taken out about a 15-day rally that we saw, starting from the mid of July. Now, the market's selling off into this range where we rallied back on CPI day. There's not much demand here as the move out of this was not very aggressive, right? We want to see a consolidation followed by an aggressive move up if we're constituting a demand zone. In this case, we have an area of support where I remember this day on the 12th of July that when the market came down into this 4,500, 4,598 level, we found support and strong buying on the tape. I actually remember that vividly. Now looking to the left of this also coincides with a previous supply zone and a previous area where the market has rejected about 2 or 3 times thereafter. So this 4498 to about 4500 to about 4490 level is a very, very important level that I would like to see it act as support if tested, but if it breaks, I'm interested in taking the market short and looking to capitalize on a short-term scalp. Now, where am I going to look to target my scalp? I'm going to look to target first the move prior to that CPI data on the 12th, around 4485, and then below that, my next target's going to be in the 70s and then the mid-60s. So I'm really going for a quick, at least first target about 13 points, and then the second target could be about 20 to 25 points lower than that. It depends on the conditions, and that's my bearish plan. We could come into that level and we bounce, and I might look to take the market long. Who knows, right? That's why playing levels is very important. We could bounce, we could reject, we could sell off, we can rally. But who cares what happens? What you have to care about is the information the market presents you in real time and then go with those flows. Now to the upside, I am possibly looking for sellers to step in around this 4555, 4562 area of supply. 4555 is where we found selling activity yesterday. 62 is also a supply zone. Now before that, let's just say we do eventually get up there today. I don't want to miss out on a possible rally that I can make profits on targeting that supply zone. Now this is, for me at least, is going to come above 4545, 4548, and I will look to capitalize on a quick little 8 to 10 point possible rally for the long side scalp, using this area as a target first if the buying pressure is strong and we do rally there. So the common theme with this is never be bullish, never be bearish. I don't care if the market goes up today. I don't care if it goes down. Just come up with levels and react to the market around those levels. I will update you guys if a trade gets put on. All right, I'm watching this 4510 level. This is a pre-market low. If I'm zooming out, this low right here at about 4 o'clock Eastern is a 4510. We're currently breaking below this low, and every single time we break it, we're seeing a lack of downside volume follow through. In fact, when we did break below it earlier in the day around 9:30, we sold off, possible stop hunt run where many put their stop loss below the low, and aggressive buying thereafter. That rally did fail, and we came back into this 4510 level. Currently, the same exact thing we're seeing earlier, we're seeing happen again with strong buying off this level. So I'm possibly looking to take the market long here at 4510. We can see some nice lower wicks on this. The NASDAQ is relatively stronger. It's bouncing off of this demand zone. And I just got some long at 4514. I'm trying this long. I have my stop loss below the 4510 low. I am in long at 4514, 10 contracts. I like the relative strength in NASDAQ. NASDAQ is rallying, bouncing off demand, and that did not break the low despite the S&P breaking the low. Now the S&P is finding some buying pressure step in. Again, looking at the footprint chart, what you're going to be able to see down here is as we come into this 4510 low, which is the pre-market low, we break it, aggressive selling steps in, and then aggressive buying steps in around 4512, which is the most volume traded today. We're finding buying step in. Now we need to see a break above the high. I'm risking about 4 points. My stop loss is below the 4510 low. And I'm simply just targeting this pivot high here around the 9 o'clock Eastern, 8:50 Eastern, around 4525. So I'm simply going for an 11-point rally on a 4-point risk. It's about a 3-to-1 risk to reward. Very, very good risk to reward. I like the buying that I'm seeing. I like the relative strength in the NASDAQ. I like the lower wicks we're starting to see here. Things are looking good in my opinion for the long side, hence taking this trade long. So that's why I'm going to put my stop loss below 4510. In fact, if we get below 4510, I possibly will look to reverse this trade and take it short, targeting 4500 if I do stop out of this long. Because the chances of it bouncing again at 4510, I would say are very, very slim after the second go around if this does not break the high of day. That indicates weak buyers. If this does not break the high of day and we go below 4510, this indicates weak buyers, and the chances of us selling off lower will be higher. But I simply need to see a high break here, targeting 4525. It will be 11-point reward. So now here's a high of day break. We need to see the buying pressure increase. Currently testing it. Looking at the footprint, we can obviously see buyers are stepping into the market. Positive delta, lower wicks at the bottom, strong aggressive selling pressure. Now into the 4520s. I'm simply just asking for 5 more points into my target, which has to coincide with this overnight VWAP before the market did open. The NASDAQ is relatively stronger. If we're watching the book map, here we can see 4520. We can see the strong buyers come in. Here's that selling that I saw at those lows. Now we're consolidating near the highs, which is a very bullish sign. For a trend to sustain, you want to see consolidation like this. You want to see acceptance. So now I want to see a strong push above the high directly into my 4525 target. So this consolidation that we're seeing right here is a very bullish indication that the market is agreeing or accepting with prices being this high. A lack of trade or a lack of volume near these highs indicates the market is not accepting these prices. But since the market has bounced off of those lows where we could see a higher low being put in, and looking at the tape, we could see all that aggressive buyers stepping in near these lows. Now the market being 10 points off those lows, we can see they are accepting and agreeing with prices being this high, indicating the auction will increase or the auction will test higher prices to see if we are met with the same reaction that we're seeing right now. I am simply going for another quick little 4-point rally directly into 4525 target. Where that came from was VWAP before the market opened and before we started downtrending on the VWAP. So here's another high a day test. Very healthy to see a pullback holding. I did not like the selling that I saw there to begin with. But now since we're coming back near the highs, exactly what I mentioned earlier about pullbacks holding and consolidation at higher prices indicates the market may auction higher to test those higher prices. I'm not asking for a 20-30 point rally. I'm simply asking for 4 more points for my target to trigger. Strong buying. So watch, see the delta building? That indicates strong buyers are stepping into the market as we move higher. One more strong push and I will cover 80% of my position above the high of day. All I need is one more strong push into strength. When majority are chasing, I'm looking to scale out 80% of my position into the high. You can see all the strong buying come in over here. Here's a new high a day. And then I'm out 4524. Out 80% of my position here. I am now only in 2 contracts, still at 4514. I will hold the remainder 2 contracts in case this thing wants to keep running. 4525 was my original target. I'm not going to keep holding this full position. I'm going to scale out 80% to protect myself. If we start breaking below this 4515, I will get out the remainder 2, still in a profit. Now zooming out, I try to figure out where else can I look to scale on this position in case we keep rallying. One thing in mind is this 4530 level. So I'm looking to observe the auction around 4530. If we could get successfully above that, I don't see why 4540 would not be able to trade thereafter. Still in on this pullback. It's still above my entry. Pullbacks are normal. Remember, market cannot go straight up forever. Do I want to be sitting in this pullback? No. But the significance of scaling out shows how important that is. If I didn't get out 80% of my position up here near the highs, a really good green trade, it would now diminish a lot of my profits. All right, I'm out the remainder here, 4515. I got out a point higher where I entered. The remainder 2 contracts, still in a profit. So looking back at this trade, now that the market is about to close, I did not open up any other trades after this. But there were some mistakes that happened, and there were some things that I did really good with. The really good thing that I did was spotting those buyers at the low a day. And remember what I said, that This wasn't something that I planned for. I just saw the market open up. We broke below pre-market low, and there was a lack of selling activity below that low, indicated possible bullish or possible reversal. Looking back on the footprint chart, we could clearly see the lack of activity below pre-market low, where many stop losses were and where many were getting short. Then directly thereafter that, at 4514, we can see all this buying right here. We could also see it on this little footprint. That was my reason for entering this trade. Now, where I scaled out 80% of my position at 4525 was perfect. That was that short-term little high. I sold pretty much right at the high, and I was very comfortable and confident with that target, and that was a really good call selling up there at 4525. Now, my mistake, obviously hindsight will always look better. Maybe I should have looked to sell my full position up there and it would have been more profit. Not that much more, but it still would have been nice selling my full position up there. But I didn't, because the market possibly could have kept rallying higher. Now, what I did was I protected myself, and that was a really good move, because a few minutes later, guess what happened? The market broke below the low a day and broke below pre-market low again. Here's that little low a day break intraday, and the same exact thing that occurred earlier on why I entered long happened again. We broke below the low here at 10:30 Eastern, then aggressive selling below the low, and automatic buying reclaimed back above that, and there was a lack of trade below low a day and a lack of trade below pre-market low. And then hindsight, I did not take this trade. Looking back at it, could have been a really good setup. Would have been taking it long with the same exact confirmation that I just took my trade with earlier. Again, when it broke low a day, and you could have targeted the high or wherever you're comfortable with your risk. And that would have been an optimal entry point to get a low a day long and been able to capitalize on a 40-point rally possibly if you held runners. And then the remainder of the day was kind of choppy, and I didn't really see any opportunity. Wasn't very active after that. I've been working on a lot of different changes for the InvestorTrade program, some new videos, some new lessons, some new live streams, and I'm excited to start talking about that more and releasing more information on it. So if you're not an InvestorTrade member, I recommend checking out the links in the description below. We're going to be doing an InvestorTrade member webinar this weekend, and I'll be discussing a little bit more about the new features that I'm going to be adding to the Discord and possible video lessons. But besides that, I'm going to end it on that note. If you enjoyed this, if you like these type of live tradings, let me know by clicking the like button, comment any questions, and peace.